Legal link exists to defend the rights of vulnerable groups in Sierra Leone. Among these vulnerable groups, we have persons living with albinism. There are no laws that specifically protect persons with albinism. So they are all covered under the Disability Act of 2011, and they are categorized as persons living with disability. Unfortunately, also, it's hard to even see their name being mentioned in the act. And I think we need to be clear going forward in trying not necessarily to separate them, but at least to recognize the challenges each and every category of PWDs go through, especially the persons with albinism, because these ones are hunted for their flesh. So their right to life is under threat. In Sierra Leone in particular, we don't experience that kind of attack on them on a large scale. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but there is no empirical evidence to show that they have been hunted in Sierra Leone for their flesh by politicians to access power. But in the East African part of the world, it is empirically evident that they are hunted. And so that in itself should have warranted the drafters to single them out, or perhaps for additional protections, especially regarding to their right to life. So that was, to me, an omission. The primary support that these people need urgently has to do with sun cream. So the sun scorched them. So in the dry season, they have a lot of skin effects. So there's a cream called sun cream. So it could be ordered. It's just a cream. It's very cheap. So that at least all of them could be traced at least for maybe a month. The cream will last them. So it's like a whole pharmaceutical, project the government should embark on to make sure they now know that when their cream runs out, they come to this pharmacy and they get it free of charge. They also need sunglasses. So also they are affected, their eyesight is affected when the sun is scorching. We also need protections for them, affirmative action like scholarships. So their medical support is key, to be regularly checking on their medical condition, and also educational support. I'm glad to announce that we are having the first person with albinism in the law department for Big College. This year, Ahmed has been enrolled. I personally stood my ground to make sure at least some affirmative action is shown to him, given the chance to come this far as a disability person. So we are proud. Ahmed is currently being admitted at the law department. So if today Ahmed can apply for law and is admitted, and it's a normal thing, then it shows how much we are coming as a nation to understanding what reasonable accommodation is all about. Because under the UN CRPD, it is very clear that we have to show reasonable accommodation to these people. All right, that they are human beings. Disability does not mean inability. So government must continue. I hope scholarship will be extended to him, and to also check on that, because under the Disability Act, it is very clear on Section 14 of the Act that disability persons must enjoy free education, tertiary education when they are admitted. I think we are still far from a pass, and we have to accept that, because it's really now we're understanding the contextual issues. We have made some effort on the area of legislation, the area of policy, the area of institutional reforms, but there are challenges. Safely, I will put it at 4/10, which means we still have more room for improvement in the area of implementation and making sure access to health care facilities, access to education, employment facilities. We are still far behind in the area of even ensuring that our public buildings are accessible to persons with disabilities. The area of employment, we make the policy. In the Act, it is clear that every MDA must have a disability desk. All right, go around and check how many MDs do have a disability desk that employs persons with disability. I'm telling you, you will be amazed at how many are even understanding the issue. So we are far away from getting to 10, but I'm sure with what we are doing now, making this call and also advocating and pushing for reforms, like Ahmed now, coming to the limelight, I'm sure the story will change, and I look forward to maybe in the next 5 years to see how far we've come as a nation, and perhaps I might grade us by then, perhaps 6 or 7. But for now, I think 4 is the grade I will definitely give as a human rights lawyer. All that is happening to them is skin deficiency, all right, and lack of melanin. That is what is causing the colorification of their skin. So it's a medical condition. First of all, they are human beings like us, and they have a right to dignity, a right to life, and a right to be treated with respect. So that has to come down very clear. And how will that simmer down very well in the nation is by co-opting them in leadership positions, co-opting them in employment positions. Let us see them in key positions, all right, in Sierra Leone. And then people will start looking at them as human beings in the first place. Then they should not call them Jews anymore. We should not call them albino. The word is persons living with albinism, because they are persons in the first place, and they are living with albinism, a condition, a skin condition, medical condition.